All right, welcome to The Verge Live. I am your host, Ross Miller. Joining me is Dr. Chaos right here.
Hello.
Hello, Dr. Chaos.
I'm here.
Right.
So here's what's happening. So
yeah, let's talk about it.
Our guys are at IFA in Germany. That's what's happening today. It's probably the biggest trade show outside of CS.
Definitely, at least for technology.
And Samsung and Sony, in these two companies in particular, are throwing out all the stops because Apple is next week.
Yes.
So Samsung's big show. I mean, just a huge parade of products from both companies today.
No, and also to be clear, though, like last year's IFA too, I think happened just before Samsung or before an Apple event. A lot of ton of announcements there.
Yeah.
They've really made this trade show something to go for, just months before CES happens.
And with the watch, with the gear, I think Samsung really wanted to beat Apple.
Yes.
Because they're, obviously everyone's expecting Apple to make a watch. Nobody knows why people should wear these watches. I mean, I have a lot of ideas. I have a lot of thoughts about why a smartwatch would be good. I think the Pebble is a really good proving ground.
Oh, yeah, the Kickstarter for non-Pebble, like it's great. But Samsung's coming out. I like Phenom. It's a good word. But Samsung's coming in like about a year before we're expecting Apple to. We're not thinking this smartwatch.
6 months a year. Yeah.
I don't think it's when they come up next week though.
No, I really would be very surprised.
No, they're getting out. This is like that kind of creation of like the industry. It's a watershed moment for smartwatches. We've been talking about it for a full year. This is the first major company, no offense to Sony, that's actually really doing this.
Yeah, but Sony has one too. But they were Sony Smartwatch Day was like, and a watch.
It's kind of here.
It's from last year.
Do it. It's second generation.
But Samsung's product, the Gear, is a full-fledged like Android device. Has like 70 apps. Okay, so I think we're ready again with the hands-on.
Let's try that one more time.
Yeah.
Hey guys, Vlad with The Verge here at IFA Berlin, and we're taking a look at Samsung's new Galaxy Gear smartwatch. This is a smartphone accessory that the company has just introduced, and we're taking our first look at it. Unlike other smartwatches, this one actually comes with an embedded camera. It's a 1.9 megapixel camera. It also has a speaker. So it has this metal buckle and a speaker, and it has a metal case. It has multiple watch faces, as you might expect from smartwatches. It has notifications, it has your contacts. You can take voice memos, S-Voice activation. You can do quite a few things that relate to your Galaxy device. Samsung describes this as a perfect companion for the new Galaxy Note 3, which is introduced today. Fortunately, the speaker seems to be rather quiet. So if you actually want to carry out a call, you want to do it in a quiet location, you can still do the kind of futuristic thing of holding this up to your head and having a phone call that way. If you swipe down from the top, you should be able to access the camera, and you can record up to 10-second videos at 720p resolution, and you can take quick snapshots. Samsung has a number of applications dedicated to this. It has the pedometer right here, and it is working on other apps from other developers. It actually has more than 70 applications as of September 2013, and it says it's working really hard with developers to try and get some more. The display on here is a 1.63-inch display, 320 by 320 resolution, Super AMOLED. The processor on board is an 800 megahertz Exynos single-core processor from Samsung, and the price should be somewhere around $300. Samsung says $299. When it launches in early October in the United States, it will actually have a global launch a little earlier than that by the end of September. So this is our very first look at the Samsung Galaxy Gear, introduced here at IFA Berlin 2013.
All right, so that is nowhere near as ugly as like the early leaks.
Let me just stop.
Okay.
Let me stop you right there. $299. Now, look, I've paid $200 for a watch before.
Yes.
It's been done.
Like a fashion watch, something
Like a fashionable, cool watch.
How much was this?
This one?
No. Oh, actually, either. I meant the metal chains right there.
This one's cheap. This one was like, I don't know. I got this one when I was like 18.
Looks it, but yeah, all right.
Yeah, it's old. It's priceless, is what I'm saying. Look, I paid a lot of money for a watch. People pay a lot of money for watches. But if you're gonna try to go into the market of like the kids who don't have watches, and this is the major accessory for your phone, I don't think $300 is where you need to be.
And the thing is, a watch is a fashion accessory. It's not something you replace often, but the smartwatch itself, that's probably going to get upgraded every couple of years. You're going to want to keep buying this, and for $300, that's not an option.
Right. Well, I mean, maybe. So the other problem is Vlad has it in his written review or his written report on the Gear, and not so much in the video. But he says it's really laggy.
Right, and it looked a little bit, especially when you go through the camera.
Yeah, when he was swiping up, you can see it's like really slow. So $300 for an 800 megahertz processor, it's laggy. For battery life that is quoted at about a day, I I'm excited about the idea of smartwatches. I really am. I think they're going to be cool. I don't know if racing to beat Apple by making a small, crappy smartphone that has a battery life of about a day is like the way to go.
No, and here's a couple other things that is worth mentioning because it is a big announcement for a smartwatch, but it's limited in functionality. It's a little slow. And for now, it's only compatible with the Galaxy Note 3 and the Galaxy Note 10.1, which were also just announced. No other Android phones, certainly not an iPhone or anything like that. You need to buy brand new Samsung devices with this.
But they said they're going to upgrade the S4, the Note 2.
Eventually.
So I think Vlad's
so.
speculation is that like they need to add Android or Bluetooth 4.3 support, the low energy support. So that is like part of, or I'm sorry, Bluetooth Smart, which is part of Android 4.3. So they've got to upgrade these phones to Android 4.3. So like there's just a lot.
Right.
But by the time the thing comes out, I wouldn't expect. There's no way they're going to put this thing in the market without being compatible with the S4.
Yeah, hopefully not. But the thing is also like this is like such an early thing. Like it does feel almost prototype-ish in the way it's like so limited in scope.
I mean, I think it's cool. I mean, it's
really cool. Don't get me wrong, but
it's beyond a prototype, right? It's a finished product. They've got the app support. Like we just got a press release about Pocket for the phone.
Yeah.
Evernote. You have a
Evernote,
list.
Glimpse, Path, MyFitnessPal, and Runkeeper, which are obviously very important for this. TripIt and Pocket.
Look, that's cool.
It's great.
TripIt's great, man. You like look at it, you get a flight alert. That's awesome. All the ideas are there, and I think actually where Samsung has succeeded in sort of like beating Apple to the punch is that they have an idea of what this product should be that is fleshed out beyond. We're Samsung. Right. We just made a bunch of stuff, right? Like it's at least like a complete idea of a product.
But Samsung's forte is selling to the masses, and this is not a device for the masses. This is early adopter. Like, you're paying a pretty penny, it's limited compatibility. You must really want a smartwatch and really trust Samsung before you get this product.
And that second piece of trusting Samsung is a big deal. I mean, Samsung does not have a super terrific history of supporting these products that don't succeed. So you have to believe that this thing is going to succeed to the point where Samsung's going to keep releasing updates for it, where they're not going to put out a new one 8 months from now and like forget about the, which they do. I mean, they do it all the time.
And honestly, this does feel like, and I don't want, like, I hate to make an Apple comparison. It feels like the first generation MacBook Air. It's crummy, it's early adopter, but a year later they finally fix it and like figure out what to do.
Yeah, and those people with the first gen MacBook Airs are like, crap. Yeah. No, look, it's very exciting. People are freaking out about it. And I can't imagine people aren't going to buy it in droves.
Oh no, and I'm probably going to buy one too.
Like, see, I can't, right? Because I have a 1.
Well,
so
I guess that's true. I would have to buy a Note 3, which, by the way, if we're going to talk just really quickly about that before we get back to watch, is 5.7 inches. It's actually bigger than the Note 2, which was 5.3 inches. Like, they're just making that phablet thing, or whatever they want to call it, like, so much bigger. Now it's to the point.
That's ridiculous.
It's now to the point where I don't know if it'll fit in my pocket. I certainly never want to pull it out, so I need, like, you have to have the watch if you're going to get this.
So actually, that's my other question. So you can pair the watch with the Note 10.1, the other Note, and then soon the S4.
Right.
Which one do you pick? So this watch is very clearly an accessory, right? It's not a primary computing device. It's not a primary mobile device.
But it's also like, you know,
why would you pair it to a 10-inch tablet?
What do you do with your phone half the time? You look for notifications. Now I don't have to actually pull it out to do that.
But why would you pair it to a 10-inch tablet?
I don't know. Why not?
I mean, that's like
it's literally a why not situation. We have it.
But that's Samsung.
That's Samsung.
Samsung. Why not? I mean, that's cool. Like, you got to respect them for just always doing that.
Right.
Being like, and we made a watch. You can pair it to this 10-inch tablet with a pen.
Samsung. Why not?
That's good. I don't understand, like, where they think the real market for this product is. Beyond the market of people who hate Apple and want to say they had a smartwatch before Apple put them
Which is a hungry market, and it's a big market, and if
it's a huge market.
If they get that, they can fund the next one that is for the masses. It's not quite Google Glass, but it's that same kind of strategy. Like, we're getting people out.
Right.
They're not limiting it, but God knows how many people are going to buy a $300 watch with a brand new $200-$300 device.
So 2 things I think that are really awesome about it are the camera in the wristband, which is silly.
Wait.
And I have a theory about this.
Okay.
And the speaker and the thing, which is, Vlad says it's too quiet, but the idea that you can make phone calls like this, that's awesome.
I can't wait to like walk around going, what's up?
Yeah.
Or literally like just, hey guys.
You'll just do this for no reason. So this is cool. If they make this work, that's the best.
This is like classic
the camera
British
thing,
spy thriller.
And I think this comes down, this is with the Sony lens too. I think we're at the dawn of a new age of creep shot innovation. Like that's basically what I'm seeing here. It's like creep
I can
shots
do this,
are about
or
to be
I can
reinvented.
put this in like some
you
kind
can
of
like hide
fence.
this. This thing is like this one that takes ultra. This is Sony's new music video recorder, which I'm going to drop. There's
past tense.
There's 2 of them in the world. You can just like.
Oh, like it's just that's great.
I'm just listening to you, and they're very like it's very thin. It's very light. Just hello, Ross Miller.
Hello.
How's it going?
So Big Brother is
ultra
crowdsourced.
precise. We can talk about these later.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, new age of creep shot innovation is upon us.
That is the catchphrase of the day. New age creep shot.
Well, why would you want a camera in your wristband? Just be like.
Which I think is look. I actually think it's kind of cute, with the one exception that it looks like a giant wart.
Can you imagine like
think I-
PTA ladies in class being like, now,
Yeah.
and they're just snapping
Time.
photos.
Oh, you want to know what time it is?
Oh, crap.
God, you're pretty.
I don't. Maybe the camera and the speaker are like the things that appeal to me because they're the least. They're the ones that take a watch beyond just being a watch.
Okay.
Right, like a smartwatch, like everything else about it is like sort of expected.
Well, I mean, it's expected, but it's never been done well. Like
Right.
a watch's glanceable information used to be just what time is it. Now it's who is emailing me at 2 a.m.
In apps, I mean,
apps,
I
yeah.
want to see what these apps. Do we have any screenshots of these apps?
I
we can
don't
look
think
at?
we do yet, and if we do, I'm sure they'll pop up on the screen. But I am curious about Evernote, for example, if it's alert. Pocket, I'm not going to read on what is a 1.63-inch, 320 by 320 AMOLED screen.
Right.
I'm not going to read that, like a full book on that,
Right.
or an article. So the Pocket thing's weird. I'm glad it's there, but again, it's a just because kind of thing. Kudos, really seriously, kudos Pocket for doing that. Good luck.
Can you change the bands?
I don't think so because the camera's on there.
Yeah, but I mean,
Well, maybe.
surely it's connected in some way.
Some kind of
Because they
wiring.
have all these colors. I think the colors are cool.
The colors are cool. The names are ridiculous.
Go ahead.
Wild orange,
Yeah.
rose gold, which I don't know if it's red or gold at that point.
It's like in the middle. It's like a
Yeah.
reddish. It's a rose color.
rose.
It's rose colored gold.
It's rose gold. Jet black, mocha gray, oatmeal beige, which is the most unattractive adjective you could add to this color, and lime green, of
Yeah.
course. So
I mean, if I could change them, if I could get all the bands probably cost $100.
I'm sure something like that.
Here's what I'm trying to get out of the gear right now is they made it. I think it's cool. I think if I had an S4, I would probably get one instantly.
As soon as we know when it's going to be compatible.
Well,
You're going to be
there's
very
no
disappointed
way.
when you buy
When
this.
does it come out? October?
So it comes out in 149 countries, September 25th. The U.S. and everyone else, early October. No exact date.
So 149 all the other countries, like
much.
small countries.
US and I think Japan.
Luxembourg on September 25th. I just like when it comes out and it's compatible with the S4. I'm not a big fan of the S4. I'm not a big fan of TouchWiz.
Right.
But I am so intrigued by the idea of a smartwatch that I'll switch the S4 for a little bit just to try it out.
Right, and it does have a good camera.
Right.
And I'll say this about the Moto X, which I still love. I've been using this for a lot. It doesn't have a good camera.
Yeah.
And the thing I use the most is just this active notification.
Right.
If I can replace that with a watch, then like it's a compelling case, agnostic of how much money I'm going to be spending to make this.
It's a lot of money. And actually,
lot.
that's the other problem. I think that limiting it to, and I know Samsung makes the most phones, but limiting it to just the Samsung, that small list of Samsung devices, S4 included, that's tough. That's tough. Like, I think there are a lot of people with Android phones and a lot of people with iPhones who would love to get a watch. And I know Apple's going to lock theirs down too. Like, I get it.
Right.
But when it's Samsung, it's a little bit different. Like, I don't want to live in a Samsung ecosystem.
No.
I don't, and I do not know anybody else who
No,
does.
Apple's justification is it owns the hardware and the
ecosystem.
software.
The
Samsung's like
S-World.
ecosystem.
Poor Seiko.
Poor
You got it because they're a watchmaker too, on top of everything else.
God.
No, look, I don't think that is Samsung's strength. I don't think
Right.
building an ecosystem is Samsung. Samsung is great at building devices that plug into any ecosystem you want to live in. Samsung's great at building pretty much anything you can think of at any moment in time. And then like just blowing them out
I
into the
honestly
world.
think they have a dartboard that's
Yeah.
different inches of a device, and at some point they just once a week they're like, we're going to throw a dart.
Yeah, when do you think the next screen size of the watch comes out?
So it's 1.63. It's a very particular number.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for the 1.65 Galaxy Gear S2.
Yeah, that'll happen.
I'm sure, and I'm sure someone at
It's just
Samsung
going to keep
is
getting
about
bigger.
to yell at
So
me on
I
Twitter.
will say this. I do think it looks very handsome.
I do like it.
It's not.
It's next to the
I think
Pebble
it
right
looks
there.
better than the Pebble.
Yeah.
The Pebble has a distinctly cheap look. I mean, so I'm a big fan of the Pebble, And you know, anytime I give anything a really good review, I give the Pebble a really good review.
Right.
You always have this fear that you're completely wrong.
Yes.
Especially with a device that's so unproven like the Pebble. And I think the Pebble has like borne it out. I think people who have the Pebble are very happy with it.
Not to mention, there's been a lot more developer support with it as time has gone on. If you get a Pebble now, which is, by the way, only $150, compatible with all your Android devices, compatible with iOS, you can do a lot more with it right now.
You know, the word on the street is iOS 7 will increase the compatibility.
Right, because of some of the things we saw, like that was in the iOS 7 build notes.
Right. So, I mean, the Pebble is like, people are really happy with it. It's still really nerdy. It's still really geeky. You still have to like hack away at it to make it work.
Right.
I don't know, like $300. I don't like the gear has to be you buy it, you take it out of the box, you turn it on, and it just starts doing awesome stuff. And that part to me has not been demonstrated yet either.
Yeah, for a company like an Apple or a Sony, or even sometimes a Google, to say, here's a lot of requirements to make this work, but once you do, it's awesome. Yeah, I get that. But for Samsung to do that, it's just like it's out of character for them.
I don't think so. I don't think Apple would ever say, here's a lot of requirements to make it work. I think Apple is going to be like
iPod 1. You must have a MacBook or an iBook.
No, but that's like, but their requirement was like, you must have iTunes on your computer, and then you plug in this thing and then it works, right? That like, with the iPhone, it's like you must have, it launched was you must have AT&T. But those are just threshold requirements. Right. Right, for the Pebble, it's you must want to like, figure out how the Pebble works, right? And then you must do all these things. You have to install this app and do all the setup and like, let the Pebble app have your IMAP, so your email information, so it can download, like that. There's just a lot of steps. Right. Right. Samsung with this watch, I think they have to get beyond. Here's all these steps. To you take it out of the box, and you must have a Galaxy S4 is like a totally valid requirement, and then those things will somehow automatically be like magical together.
And this time next year, when every phone coming out has Bluetooth like smart, like it's a moot point. But then again, by this time next year, everyone's gonna have a smartphone or smartwatch. So
I don't know about that. I'm very high on smartwatches. I'm very high on the idea of the gear. And I'm very, I'm pleased with Samsung for having what appears to be a focused idea. That's a first.
Yeah.
Good on you.
I mean, and it's all thanks to this. What they said in the event was a think tank. Samsung has its own think tank where it came up with this. Yeah. And kudos, like seriously, kudos to that think tank.
And that think tank is sitting there reading Apple Insider every day, just waiting to see what the next rumors are. You know, they're going to build a TV.
God.
That'd be amazing if out of the think tank they were like, we should build a TV.
That would be great.
And someone else at Samsung is like, dude,
we are. Well,
we have like all sizes.
That's so great.
Samsung makes really pretty TVs, I will say.
Oh yeah, I've got one too. I love it. I mean, but like the competition of smartwatches is going to get fierce. It's Pebble now. It's kind of Sony.
Is Pebble competition for any of these? I don't think it is. I think Pebble is out there. They're gonna like, they're gonna validate the market, right? People want them.
They have validated the market.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Or at least for the small subset of people who are into Pebbles. The Google just bought Wim, which was a super nerdy product that Chris gave a really bad review to. You can tell, and I've heard a lot about Google and Motorola like building a watch together. Obviously, the Apple rumors are out there. Right. Samsung, it's great that they beat everybody to the market with this thing. I just think $300 for what appears to be a laggy product that only works with a tiny subset of Android devices out there. Not a tiny subset, but just, I mean, there are more Galaxy S3s than there are Galaxy S4s. Right. And it doesn't support the S4 yet.
Yeah, no, I mean, like the thing is, I'm excited for it. I will probably get it because that's just, I'm a different echelon of nerd. That's fine. I accept that. I would never recommend it to anyone else because it's weird compatibility stuff, unless you're buying something like brand new also. But this time next year, like, I think it's a much different story. Yeah. And this first year is going to be very interesting to see how people adopt it. Because the Note 1 was a surprise success also.
Right. And actually, we should talk about the Note a little bit because, until we get the watch, who knows? I mean, I'm going on what
I will be talking
I've talked to Vlad and Tom about it.
All the time.
And we've talked to Vlad and Tom about it. They did their video, which we saw. So it's great. I just think $300 for this watch it's a tough sell for what appears to be kind of an early version of this product. Right. But let's talk about the Note. So you're right. So the first Note was panned all over the place.
Yeah, but it did so well.
It did so well. People love it. I see Note 2s everywhere, and I'm always like, man, that is a big screen.
I used the Note 2 for a month. I loved it. Like, I really, I would walk around, like, literally using S-Note. S-Note.
I don't understand that at all.
It was good for taking notes. Like, it had a calendar.
Do we have a Note 3 hands-on?
I think we do. I'm sure it'll start playing over us. There we are. There we go. With its faux leather backing.
So this, I don't understand. This is like they ran out of ideas. So the Note 1 was like really big, right?
Right.
People loved it. The Note 2 like tightened it all up in that way that you can like make the bezel smaller and the components get smaller. It's smaller. And the Note 3, it's like we're gonna make the screen bigger, we'll make everything bigger, and industrial design-wise, fake leather.
Well, okay, it's way better. I haven't played with it yet, but I'm much happier seeing this than I am the Galaxy S4s.
Yeah.
I don't even want to call it like slippery.
It's still made of plastic. These are fake plastic stitches.
But if I don't like feel disgusting after touching it, then I think it's a step up from the S4. I mean, I feel dirty and prepubescent when I like touch that thing.
I don't feel dirty and it's shameful after touching your product.
Well, if you get a case for the S4, it's fine. But like out of the case, whatever.
Look, the Note 3 is a befuddling product. I have to say, like,
really?
I do not understand. Every time I see one, I'm like, man, what a big screen. And I will say, of that caliber of devices with that size screen, I won't say the word, but you know what word I'm thinking.
Yeah.
The Note is obviously the best one, and I think that just speaks to how bad everyone else's software is.
It's also the only one. What's another one?
Well,
in that?
LG makes a gigantic one, right? Sony's going to make a gigantic one.
I'm sure.
We've heard about HTC. Like right now, it's really Samsung and LG that make like the big, huge, and I just don't.
Don't say it.
I'm not.
Don't.
Not saying the word, and it's just. The state of Android skins is so bad that when Samsung has the best skin on that size device.
I mean, I think the other argument is like people today own smartphones and tablets. They do largely the same thing, with few exceptions. If you have a watch, why not have a bigger phone that you don't have to check as much? And it almost replaces the tablet. Like I'd never get a Note device and a tablet. It would serve both functions. I can read comfortably on that.
I don't understand. So I'm a big iPad guy.
That's fine. It's fine.
Like the iPad Mini just like sits around. I'm like, I guess that's cool.
And I love the iPad for the apps. Like hardware, it's great, it's beautiful, but like it's really because the app ecosystem is still so much better,
But you
especially
have like a
games.
Nexus 7.
No, I don't.
I've seen.
I had it. I played with it for a couple years or a couple months. I got bored with it.
Yeah,
I get bored.
You have a phone.
I get bored with things.
But you
so
have
quickly.
a little phone.
I do. I have a little phone. I can check my calendar.
That's what I'm saying. So the Note 3 is like, I'm sure it will be a huge success. In the same way that the first two Notes were a huge success. I'm sure that its like feature list is great. I'm sure people are going to freak out over S Pen. Because who doesn't love it? They're going to take S memos and notes all day long.
Yeah, no, the tagline is every day made easier with S Pen.
I don't understand that. You know what's not easier is writing with a pen on things. Like there's a reason the whole world moved to keyboards.
Well, I mean, there's something. I mean, you don't use an actual pen and paper ever.
There are very limited times when that occurs to me to do.
No, in all seriousness, whenever taking do meetings, like I use paper and pen. That's still the most natural way for me to take notes.
And you're gonna pull out a Galaxy Note.
I'll consider it. If it's 5.7 inches, I have a little more space.
I think the people who love the Galaxy Note will very much love the Galaxy Note 3. I think that's obvious.
Which is a surprisingly big market.
Yeah, of huge people. Of just massive
I'm not a big person and I like it. The only person with smaller wrists on the staff is Vlad Savov, who of course did our Galaxy Gear smartwatch hands-on.
I'm just saying, every time I see one on the subway, I'm like, man, that is a big screen. and I'm like drawn to it. I'm like, man, maybe, God, I wish this screen was bigger. But that's it. Like there's nothing else beyond it. Because you know what it is? It's a giant Samsung phone running giant Samsung software.
At what
giant
point?
Samsung people. That's it.
No, you're right. But at what point is that Note too big and we have to call it a tablet again?
I think
when it stops being a phone.
As soon as it hits 6 inches.
So
and there are 6-inch phones out there in the world, but I think as soon as you hit 6 inches, you've got to stop lying to yourself.
So
because it's true. Just don't stop lying. Like there are 7-inch tablets in the world. You're almost there. It's a tablet.
So I mean,
it's a really small tablet. It's no longer a really big phone.
I completely believe that next year the Note 4 will be 5.98 inches, and that will be the limit.
Sure. I mean, maybe the bezels get smaller. They'll find some other way to make the body smaller. They'll do whatever. Where they'll put two smaller notes together. They'll click them together.
Multiplayer.
I'm surprised actually. Samsung. There's a free idea for you to just randomly build for no reason. Connect two phones together and make one big screen. You could call it S screen. S double.
Screen.
Screen.
So that's the other big Samsung announcement we should talk about very quickly is the Note 10.1. 2014 edition is what they're calling
Does
it.
this thing look any better? Do we have a picture?
I think we have a
Because
picture.
the Note 10.1, I will say, was one of the ugliest products
It
ever
looked
made.
like a Wii U controller.
It,
Sorry, that's
a rough
the
double
meanest thing I
burn.
can say.
let me get a picture.
It does, while
Let me
he's doing
find
that,
this thing.
it has 2560 by 1600 resolution, the same as the Nexus 10,
That's spectacular.
which is great because this will be much more mass marketable because it's not a Nexus device.
Right.
We'll probably have a ton of
I
S
see.
apps.
I see what they're doing here. It's a little bit better. It's a little bit less ugly. No, I'm proud of you.
Do we have pictures of this at all we can show?
It is definitely. It looks like a.
There we go. Exactly
I mean, it
what we're
looks like a
watching.
gigantic Galaxy S4.
Yeah. It does.
Which is still ugly, but less ugly than the previous Note 10.1.
Mm-hmm.
So, I hope the back isn't as nasty.
I wonder how this thing does for sales. Like, I really do question who buys this product. Because we know the iPad dominates the tablet market.
Oh, it's the same leather back thing. On the
Oh
back.
yeah, same faux leather.
So this is Samsung's new move. They went from slimy plastic to fake plastic leather.
I think it's an improvement. I'm very excited for that.
It's like they're slowly. It's like they're going through the leather making process with you.
Yeah.
Like they're like, this slimy animal hide.
And next time,
now we've turned it into fake plastic leather. I mean, it's just, I don't know. Samsung. Oh, Samsung.
so mad.
I'm not mad. It's just, I don't know why they think that the S4 design language is the one that they should run with. Because I do not think the S4 is a particularly handsome phone.
No, which in itself, it's a variation of the S3, but the S3 was, I thought, better looking. I thought it was a much
I thought the S3 was
more
better
attractive.
looking than the S4.
I don't
that's
know
for sure.
what they did to change that. And if you're in that think tank, please fix this.
I mean, the think tank.
I have all my trust
go
in the
out
Samsung
into the
think
world.
tank.
Do we know what the name of the think tank is?
I think they just call it the Samsung think tank.
And wait, is my assumption that they're locked? They're hermetically, that they're actually in a tank. Is that correct? There's no windows, and they're just in there alone,
Just
floating.
them and a bunch of tablets where they can look at the outside world.
Yeah, and they're constantly drawing on notes.
Notes.
I mean that. I'm just saying.
They have an S design
Or
app. It's designed.
look, I'm sure it's a very nice glass and steel building with lots of windows, free food,
Only a few locks. Just
as many
3 or
TVs
4
as you want,
passcodes.
screen sizes.
Biometric sensors.
I bet there's a button in every office in Samsung where you can just call up the screen size. I don't know, 4.3.
It's little like a
4.4.
You just hit a lever and it's
it spits them out to you.
It's 3.6. All right, we got this.
Yeah, it's casino slots. Is there anything else we need to talk about Samsung?
I don't think so. I mean, that was big. I mean, I think what's important is IFA's become big because you can now announce a product in September and release it in time for holidays.
Yes.
Years ago, CES is this is where all the announcements are going to happen for the full year. And now the turnaround time, the manufacturing time is so much faster. And this is really the last big trade show of the year, so of course
Right.
it's going to be the biggest one going forward.
No, and I think the watch is clearly Samsung's focal point. For
Yes.
the rest of the year, we're going to hear a lot about this watch, what they're doing with the watch, how they beat Apple to the watch. I mean, that's the narrative that Samsung wants.
Right.
And I think what they don't quite realize is that the big market of human beings in the world is going to wait for Apple to come out with this watch.
Yes.
Because at $300, they don't have a story, and they don't have Apple's marketing and brand muscle yet.
Right.
They're getting there.
But I mean,
I just don't think they can. I don't think they can take this thing and put it on the Today Show and be like, it's a $300 watch.
they'll
best
still
gift
put it
for-
on the Today Show.
Oh, they're gonna try.
Absolutely.
I mean, but you know what I'm saying.
Right.
I don't think they have they haven't told me a compelling general use story beyond I'm a huge nerd and I want a 1.5-inch AMOLED display in my wrist, and so I'm going to spend $300.
Right. But here's the thing: for the next 12 months, they don't have to because there is no competition. They can work out all the kinks, get public opinion. They love, designing around this public opinion.
Yeah, the S5 Mega Gear.
Ultra active with Bluetooth. Really smart.
God.
I know, but they have a full year to work out the kinks. So when Apple smartwatch does come out, one, they have brand recognition already. People know what Galaxy Gear is, even if they never considered buying it.
Why do
Two,
I
the
think-
prices drop.
so
It's
I
a much
think-
better device.
I will say I don't think Apple's going to do their watch in September next week with the iPhone.
Oh God, no, absolutely not.
But Apple definitely has another event in October.
You really think you're going to see some kind of Apple wearable device,
think-
even a hint of it this year?
They could.
They could, but
I mean, there's a reason that the rumors spun up. Ultimately, it's Apple couldn't do the TV, right? Too many challenges, too many hurdles. We talked about it at length. That's why the watch rumors have spun up.
Right.
I think Apple has to put out some sort of new product line this year. I think they feel the pressure very hard.
Right.
And there's a chance we could see it sooner than that.
True.
There's also, I'd put it at 50-50. It could be next year.
We heard a lot more rumors about it like last February. This last February is when the New York Times and Wall Street Journal both reported curved glass. We've heard Johnny Ive is really taken to it. The last we heard was
Tim Cook.
Tim Cook.
The
too.
wrist is a profound opportunity.
Yes. But the last rumor we heard, I think, was Bob Mansfield's overseeing it. Adobe CTO Kevin Lynch is a major player in this.
Yeah.
And so that's all great. That's all exciting.
Stephen Elop is running the watch program.
Right, Stephen Elop.
It'd be amazing if they brought.
Why not? Heir apparent to every company in technology. Stephen Elop will join Apple, plummet the price, and get Bob on Microsoft. No, that's a conspiracy theory. I really don't believe that. But God, the internet's mean. I digress.
Someone just told me the Samsung think tank should be called the S-Tank or Stank. That's pretty good. All right, let's talk about Sony.
Let's talk about Sony. So
if you have more Samsung questions,
believe me,
tweet them at us.
Tweet us. We're still
I will
looking
answer
at Twitter
them to the best of my ability.
Yes.
Or with jokes. You never know what I'm going to do.
Yeah, so this is the fun part because we actually have it in studio. There was 3 big Sony announcements. The flagship Xperia Z1, which I'm actually excited about.
So the Z1 has like a huge sensor in it, right? It's like a half inch.
20.7 megapixel. Yeah. Biggest except for Lumia.
Right. I mean, that's like astounding to me.
But I mean, it's also not a numbers game too. The pictures like that they showed look good. We'll see it when we try it ourselves, of course.
Yeah, we haven't played. Did Vlad play with one?
I don't know if Vlad played with Xperia Z. I think he did. I think he did.
Can we roll the tape? There's a tape back there. I don't know if you know this. We were on the whole studio.
Hi Vlad. I think the first thing you might notice that's new about the Xperia Z1 is the design. You've just seen the aluminium frame and the solid aluminium block it comes from. Here it is crafted around the edge of the device. The familiar aluminium on and off button, now a hard camera key and a beautiful aluminium design around the outside.
And your headphone jack is now exposed, whereas previously you had a flat one.
Our headphone jack is now exposed, but the device is waterproof. So you can still drop the Xperia Z1 into up to 1.5 meters of water, leave it there for 30 minutes if you like, and take it out happily. The water jack will simply fill up. The audio jack will simply fill up with water, but it'll still work.
All right. And the other big new improvements, you have the new Triluminous display technology, which you introduced with your Bravia TVs.
Exactly, so in that 5-inch Full HD 1080p screen now is a Triluminous display, straight from our Bravia technologies that gives you the best colour ever, a wider range of colours, and with the X Reality...
It's better.
I mean, it looks like the Xperia Z, right? I mean, fundamentally, it just has a big camera now.
It's got the different aluminum frame, a little more rugged. It's actually fully waterproof, is what they're calling it, instead of water resistant. Yeah. And there's no more slot on the headphone jack. It's just open and still waterproof.
What?
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm excited about that.
I'm gonna buy this phone.
5-inch, 20.7 megapixel camera. But I mean,
I don't like the on-screen buttons.
No. But
I hate on-screen buttons. Just let me use the rest of the screen. Like, why would you take that away from me?
I mean, they could have just not had it on there in the first place.
Just give me a button. Why would you take the screen away from me?
You have plenty of buttons on the side. You have the volume button.
No, you know what's great? Let's put the home button under the space bar in every app. That's a cool idea.
So mad.
Why? I get it. I understand. Google had to make a choice because manufacturers were doing stupid button things. They said, put the buttons on the screen so we can control them because we're Google and we need to put some consistency and order back in Android.
Put buttons on here.
You know what? That's way better. Yeah. I will say this, with the One, I've come around to this stupid button layout. And I still think it's stupid, but at least I understand it.
There's only 2 buttons. What was there to understand? Home
they didn't
and
put the home button under the spacebar.
Okay.
So a capacitive home button under the spacebar is a bad idea.
I agree.
And I don't mean whatever. I know you can like ROM it up, ROM it down,
or
to like change the HTC logo to home button.
Like I don't miss the H key anymore on the virtual keyboard. Like you can just find your way.
Just let me use the rest of the screen.
I'm asking when you're like trying to hit the home
button. Are you kidding me?
Okay.
It's a phone. I'm all states. Every color of the rainbow. All right, I'm gonna stop. Let's talk about this lens.
Let's talk about this. This is, rumored and leaked all over the place.
Yeah, Sony was not happy about this. So this is the Lens G. This is, I think, so the X1, X1? That's what it's called?
The QX10.
No, the phone is the X1.
Oh, the Xperia Z1.
Z1. Oh,
okay.
God, I don't know. Anyway, the Z1 I think is very cool. It is very much, however, the Xperia Z with a very nice camera.
Right.
And I think Sony is really leaning into their camera stuff. They're good at it.
Very good at it.
And they put out a new Nex camera today, which was very interesting.
Oh, really?
The Nex 5R, or Nex 5T, which is very cool. Very cool. They put out an SLR style body, the Alpha A3000, which uses Nex lenses and Nex sensor, like just cool camera stuff all the way around from Sony. And then they're you know, I think they thought long and hard about how they can continue selling cameras to people who are using smartphones, and they came up with this. So this is the Sony Smart Lens QX10,
Okay.
And this has an 18 megapixel sensor in it.
And to be clear, like this thing right here is not needed. It's not necessary if you want to use the camera.
No, it's not at all. So this is just a clip.
Okay.
Which I'm going to take off. I've got it connected to HTC One here. So this just clips onto a phone, and then I can just like do it. I can just, now my phone has a gigantic lens attached to it.
Congratulations.
And because it's NFC, the reason I have it paired, it works a little bit better with Android than iOS. It works with both of them, but it works a little better with Android, especially if you have NFC on your phone. So, gotta just unlock.
Oof.
And you open the Sony Play Memories app,
Okay.
and it's just gonna figure it out. Like, it just found it, it's connecting it.
Okay.
This is all a bit slow. I think everybody should recognize this is not like, I'm going to take a bunch of pictures.
So
like, here I go.
every time you turn on the app, it does this.
Yeah, it's got to connect. So this thing is creating a Wi-Fi network.
Okay.
The app connects to the Wi-Fi network. And then, here we go. I've got it just sort of live doing stuff.
Okay.
And I can just like look at you. I already took this picture and put it on the internet. I show you a picture of Ross, and it's going to transfer it to the camera.
Great.
So this takes a full res picture. It has a micro XD. That a thing? Is that a size of camera? It's got an XD slot, and it's got a memory stick mini micro. Whatever the smallest ones are. This thing literally it's been leaked forever, but I got it in my hands like an hour ago. So it saves the full res to its internal memory. You can transfer to the phone. It saves a 2 megapixel picture.
Okay.
So the people who saw me tweet a photo of Ross earlier, the reason that didn't look great is because that was the smaller 2 megapixel file that I was just screwing with. So if you have a camera like the one, so here's the thing. I think the iPhone 5 takes great photos.
Yes.
I think using this with an iPhone 5 is great. The Play Memories app works just the same. The clip actually, you can tell that this was designed to like fit on the back of an iPhone.
It's perfectly flat.
It looks far more perfect than an iPhone than any other phone. So this looks great on an iPhone. It works great. The app works great. But I think the iPhone has a totally fine camera. If you have a phone like the one, where I think the camera is a little bit more middling,
right.
This is an amazing accessory. So I think this is a One Google Play Edition. I think the camera app is not so great. It overexposes everything all the time.
Can you take it over? Sorry, go on.
You just connect. You need the password.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, this thing is just making a Wi-Fi network.
Okay.
Like, things can connect to it.
Could I tap it with an NFC? Would that work?
Yeah, does that have NFC?
I think
Let me turn off this one.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you have NFC, Sony's really big on NFC. They're planning to have something like 100 NFC accessories for their phones.
I may not have NFC on.
Oh.
Oh,
Yeah, because why would you? Because it's useless unless. So I mean, Sony's really
Yeah.
into NFC. They want to. There's a button.
God. Nope, that's the on-off. Here we
So
go.
look, so this thing is $250. There's another one, and it's basically a point-and-shoot caliber lens, except like assembly in there and sensor. They have another one, the QX100, which is basically Sony's RX100 Mark II. It's a lot bigger. It's way more expensive. It's $500.
Right. But what Vlad said, which is interesting to me, is like he said it was the quality of the RX100 M2, which is
It's the same camera.
yeah, it's like the best point and shoot that I've seen.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous.
So people love it. So I mean, it's very much the same camera. It has a way faster lens, has a f1.8 lens.
Carl Zeiss too.
Yeah.
This is
So I mean,
Sony.
like, I'm gonna buy that one. It's $500 when I buy it because I actually am intrigued by the idea of taking these pictures directly to my phone. Whereas you could buy the RX100 Mark II, but that's $650. So you can save a little bit of money and like have the thing integrated directly with your phone.
Right, and that's awesome. Like this middle of the ground though, it's a nice testing, like middle of the, like area. Like this is good pictures. It's certainly better than this.
Yeah.
But the setup is what's bothering me. Like
Well, you needed the password.
Well,
once
no,
you do some of the initial setup, and it's taking a long time to connect. So I think
Right.
Sony, like, I noticed that with they had Xperia Zs there. With the Xperia Z, it was a little bit faster, a little bit, made a little bit more sense.
Right.
It's all, again, NFC'd up. So, like, you can just do stuff. Like, you can just tap it and go.
okay.
So it made a little bit more sense. But what we're experiencing right here, where it's trying to connect to this wireless network, we're just switching phones here. That's problematic. And I think
Right.
that's probably the only sticking point with the product. Because other than that, it's if you could just turn it on and shoot pictures from a better lens, a better sensor, and have them on your phone, it's a killer proposition.
No, it's great. But I have to ask, like, once this is hooked up, because like it still took like 30 seconds on there. You can't do knee-jerk reaction shots. You have to plan the stuff out.
Yeah, so like you can't go from cold to shooting.
Right.
Super. I mean, like again, with the iPhone, it's like, oh, I'm going to take a picture, and
My phone fell asleep.
I'm taking a picture. Right. It's done. It was done. That was. You cannot do what I just did with my iPhone with that thing.
Well, like, but it is a full camera. I could just like take a picture here.
You could, if that thing had a memory card in it, you could just use it as a camera like that.
And could I just transfer later? Like, oh,
yeah, you should
that's
turn
exciting.
it on. Yeah, you can like look at it if it had a card in there.
If it had a card.
So the play memory is, and again, what's interesting about this is all of Sony's other Wi-Fi cameras, like the RX100 Mark II, you can do exactly the same things.
Right.
The experience is just being shrunk into this lens and clipping onto the back of a camera.
Right. Well, that's not that
It
bad.
still hasn't connected.
No, but I just wanted to start looking good on it.
But I'm just saying, I mean, this stuff is all new. It's not out yet. It comes out end of the month. And then the QX100 comes out, I think, at the end of October.
Okay.
And so, we'll obviously get them in for review. Sony's very nice to let me. I was very excited, so they let me. They let me steal one basically from the event. I think this is a great idea. I think there is, like all things, there are some execution questions that remain.
And David Pierce is yelling at me in chat saying it is faster with NFC. So that's good to know.
It is definitely faster. So this has NFC, and I can just, this thing turned on, I can just open up.
Right.
Play Map. I'm super good at Android. Yeah, so this is going to connect in like 1 second here. But it's still taking like a while.
Yeah.
Yep, there, it connected. So the one thing about this is now it's on here. It's taking pictures away. But like Ross was saying, you don't need to have this attached to the camera. So you see this?
Here, I'll hold this. You can go run around.
You hold that. So now I'm just like pointing at stuff. Here's Ross. And I can just like take a picture, and it just worked. So it's about 15 feet, they say it works from. You can try to roll away. This is quite a, you've got to hit back.
Oh, right.
There you go.
There we go.
So I can try to take a picture of, this is super meta.
Jordan, you got this? All right, good.
Yeah.
And we got Jordan.
So you can, I mean, this is already, like I said, a new age of creep shots is upon us.
Absolute new age. You can just put that somewhere.
Hey, no, it's really nice to see you.
Yeah. Can you turn that sound off, speaking of creep shots?
I don't know.
Okay.
But I'm going to find a way.
I'm just going to tear it open. Where's that audio?
I mean, like, this isn't a camera. This is just a circle.
Yeah.
I just have it. Is that a circle?
It's a very sensitive coaster. Don't worry about it.
Hey, cool. It does make a super comical, loud sound. So it also has a lens mount. Like, it's funny how much of a camera.
Oh my God.
So this is like super hilarious and wonderful.
And so we can just control it from here.
Yeah.
That's great. Oh, sweet.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Look, I think it's cool. I think for $250 as a toy for people who have phones that maybe don't have their best cameras,
Right.
it's great. I would. There are a lot of people I would say to get that instead of a point and shoot.
Right. And if I'm going to like a very dark concert, like I don't mind taking that around as opposed to that plus a point and shoot.
Well,
I think it's a good test case.
It's a good test case. I mean, I think here's how I've been thinking about it. My wife is like super into Instagram.
Okay.
And she's always like, I want to get a newer, better camera. She has an iPhone 5. And I can't think of, like, short of $700, like what camera to get her that A, has like better image quality, and B, won't require her to like take out a memory card and like put it in a computer.
Right.
And like she's not on she's not going to send those things to Instagram then. So like so I'm like, I can get you whatever camera you want. Are you ever going to take the memory card out and put it in your computer? And she's like, no, I won't do that.
Right, and this is instant.
And I think that's why these are popular, right? They combine shooting, editing, sharing all in one thing.
And the play memory is like, does that go straight to Instagram or does it just go to the camera roll and then from
It goes
there?
to the camera roll.
Okay.
I mean, it's
Which is great.
It's just a camera app. Like
Right.
fundamentally, it's a camera app that connects to these products. And I think having like, for Sony to say we're really good at imaging, which is what they're doing all over the place.
Yes.
We're putting it directly into our phones. So our phones have great cameras, and then we're going to let everybody else with phones get a piece of our great camera. And yes, it's expensive, but it's designed to be used with a phone and not some like we're not making some totally separate gadget. I think that's strong, especially for $250.
And is this does it have video as well? Shoot video?
I don't think it shoots video. It does? Jordan?
It does the 30p.
30p?
Let's see.
I don't
have
know,
it right
it's all
here.
set up. That's the one thing I actually haven't tried to do because I've just been so happy.
Press the button. Press the button again. Nope.
Again, they gave this to us just moments ago.
Yeah, this is kind of us figuring it out on the fly.
That's why you're here. Your app had a movie. Sorry.
Okay, they can't hear John from the control room.
John is telling me the iPhone app had a movie button in it. Maybe that's true. I don't know if it supports it on every platform.
No.
Either way, I think they're going to sell a lot of these. I really do.
Absolutely.
I think these are like tremendous. Like
I kind of hope to do. I really like the idea.
And they just have to get faster. I think like this nonsense where mode. Oh yeah, there we go. Movie.
Exciting television.
It's great television. I'm taking a movie of. Okay, it aired out of me. Oh, it doesn't have. So here's what I just discovered. It will let you shoot videos. It won't let you transfer them in real time. You need to have a card in here.
Okay.
So it needs a card.
Got it.
But once you have a card, it'll shoot movies just fine. Look, I'm just saying I think they're going to sell a lot of them. I think people are going to be intrigued by the product. And the idea that you can just like
you have to market it well.
Kind of like clip a better camera onto your phone and make it work. That's good.
Right, and I've loved the fact that like Sony and Samsung both came out and said these are just bizarre products. Like these are not things that you've seen before. The watch kind of have, but this brand new. And
also Sony, I will say,
kudos to them.
Sony, Sony's strength in this world is hardware design.
Yes.
And they're getting slowly better at software design, but their strength has always been hardware design. And if you look at this product, I think if you look at their phone, they're starting to understand that they need to do hardware design in a better way, and they're starting to make some really beautiful products.
Yes.
So I wouldn't call this necessarily beautiful. I mean, in like the classic design sense.
It's simple.
But as a piece of like engineering, it's really well done, and it makes a lot of sense. This is Sony's movie camera. Their new. They're literally calling it a music video recorder.
Okay.
It's just a pocket cam. There's nothing special about it.
It's for recording concerts.
It's got two what they're calling high precision microphones.
Okay.
And the only reason I wanted to show it off, because it's pretty. I mean, that's it. It's super pretty. It like, it has this interface. It's really gadgety. We have stopped in many ways covering gadgets, right? Like we cover phones, then we cover the world of things around phones, including the Galaxy Gear, right? Which is a phone accessory. This is just a standalone gadget, right? And Sony's just making it happen, and it looks beautiful. It's expensive. It's $299. I think the people who want this thing are going to pay for it.
Right.
Sony's like, we've been showing it off, and
it looks
really
to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, it looks like you would take this to a concert and get a good bootleg.
This is designed for bootlegging concerts. There's no doubt in my mind that Sony thinks you're actually going to do this at a concert and like record it.
This is your move for all sneak cams. It's like
this is my creep shot move.
It is. What are you doing? I don't mind this.
This is not my move. This is. Hey guys, how's it going?
It looks like a fucking medical device. Oh,
it does.
Yeah. Hello,
Ross.
Boom.
Ross, you can't love anymore. I'm sorry. You'll never love again.
Oh God.
No, I just think Sony's. I will say this. I think I saw Sony's whole presentation in New York today. Both Samsung and Sony, just so you know, they had presentations in Berlin and they had simultaneous presentations in New York. So David Pierce and I went to the Sony one. Dan Seifert went to the Samsung one. So I sat through Sony's whole thing today, and I don't think I've ever seen Sony as confident about what they're designing and what they're making as they have been recently. I think they're designing beautiful things.
No, they are.
And like David actually said, and their new Vios today, which are like pretty. Sony, I think, makes questionable materials choices with some of their computers. But David said to me in the middle of this event, like, Sony's making beautiful things just because they can. They're no longer feeling like they have to compete. They've like settled into what they're going to do, and they've started to make beautiful products in those areas. And that's cool. I'm into that. Right. And I think that this is. I'm never going to buy this. I'm not going to buy this. I have no need for this. Again, new age of creep shots is upon us, but I'm going to use that.
This is creep video.
This is creep video. High precision creep audio. But I just think there are very few companies that actually care about design for like gadgets and hardware the way Sony does.
Right.
And it's exciting to see them kind of lean into it. Now, I'm not going to buy their phone.
No,
because they have their software.
And I'm curious how well the Xperia Z did. Like.
So it does well. Sony's in third place, right? Yeah. Overall, right? And especially in Europe, they do really well. So I don't know. They're really psyched about how waterproof their things are. It's actually weird to go to a Sony event now that doesn't feature water in some way. Like everything's very aquatic.
Was there water at today's event?
No, not in the one in New York, but They definitely had models in like a giant champagne glass in Berlin. Yeah, everything at Sony is like very aquatic right now. They're like, look, it's waterproof. You don't believe us? Allow these beautiful people to splash themselves.
At some point, they're going to get the rights to bring a shark to an event.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
And like, just look.
The shark will bite the phone.
I'm happy that a flagship device will weather bad conditions, no pun intended, but like,
What?
A water tank.
Look, I'm saying, Sony's very... I just think like what Sony's doing
We've seen so many of their like eccentric events. I'm not surprised. I'm actually kind of happy.
Right.
They're being kind of crazy.
Well, particularly at IFA, there's like a lot of weirdness. They're just always traditionally. It's Berlin.
Yeah. No, I went last year. It was interesting.
But I just think like it's weird that like, well, this doesn't count. That's just pretty. Don't worry about that. But it's weird that I think the two most interesting products released today were smartphone accessories.
Yeah.
Right. It's a watch with a camera and then a camera.
What else is released? And we're talking about like a ubiquitous device now. Smartphones all look the same. It's a rectangle with a screen that does internet.
That is huge.
That is huge. Like that's not interesting anymore. And like what is interesting is like what we do in addition to that, which is these complementary devices, these watches, these headsets, these lens thingies.
Headsets.
Well, those aren't as interesting.
Well, I think this is very much a response to the idea that most phones have bad cameras.
Yeah.
And I think they're getting better. And I think that we've watched the phone industry chase its tail for years, being like a good camera will sell this phone.
Yeah.
Which has yet to be true. Like a good camera helps, but most people don't buy a phone because of the camera.
Which is upsetting because I want nothing more than an Android device with a really good camera.
Yeah.
But so we have one last Sony device we haven't talked about really quickly. It's bringing full circle is the Smartwatch 2, which I forgot is a second generation smartwatch. They've been doing this for a while.
Yeah,
it's such a
Sony
side
smartwatch is super lame. Like I'm sorry. Like
no,
it's great that they made it. It's great they made it early.
Did they even mention it on the press conference?
Didn't even talk about it.
Yeah,
they like blasted through it. It's great. It's a watch, right?
Yeah.
And it's cool. It's like a Pebble with a better screen, but it's ultra limited. It doesn't do the things you expect it to do. It doesn't have like an app platform. It's a watch. Like it's a watch that connects to your phone and has media controls on it.
I'm just surprised Sony's not really like jumping into this much harder.
I don't think they know they can't compete with this thing. I'm sure they're going to make one. I'm sure they're going to get out there, but this product is not it. Like the original Sony smartwatch was so bad. I don't think we didn't review it.
No, we saw it, we looked at it, we acknowledged it existed, and then moved on.
And then, great. This thing's a little bit faster. It's probably a little bit makes a little bit more sense. The original Sony smartwatch didn't have a touchsring. It was just like this constant like button pressing.
Oh, that's right.
So like,
oh my God.
Right, but it's not on for Sony to go up against the Gear with this. I think makes no sense.
No, I agree. Okay, so that's we should wrap up, I guess. So that was the big announcement for IFA. That obviously it's still going on the rest of the week. We will be there.
Yeah.
But it's that's the big news we've had so far. The biggest thing coming up next, of course, is Apple, which will be doing this again next week.
Next week, September 10th.
Oh, I'm so excited. Let me tell you.
We're gonna put out a rose gold iPhone.
Which, in that case, we know it's actually more gold than rose. But
is this what you want? Is this what you're after?
It's certainly better than this camera.
Yeah. This
Maybe not.
This is hilarious.
So I'm just gonna start throwing cameras on your way.
All right, here we go.
Here we go. There. This is the Megazord of camera phones now.
It's terrible.
It's a Voltron. Yeah. So more IFA coverage later this week. Of course, all the videos we've done and more. Verge.com. Next week is Apple. We'll be doing this again. Way more hands-ons, all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
Big other video news.
Look, guys, I have it doing hands-on with the iPhone 5S right now.
You would never
Here it is.
know.
It looks.
You would never know.
Never know.
Rumor has it,
amazing.
5S, the cheaper iPhone perhaps.
Check out these chamfers.
Probably not a smartwatch.
It's like jewelry. We should wrap this up.
Yes. Outside of IFA, we got a new episode of Detours today. Obviously, the Verge cast is tomorrow, which is even more laid back and drunk than this, if you can believe it. New Top Shelf on Monday. Of course, Apple after that. Fun little Twitter facts at Verge is Verge. You are reckless. I am Ono Roscoe.
Yes.
All coverage more, theverge.com. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We'll be back very soon. Take care.
$300.